Hello, welcome back to the Cricket Nerds. And this is the first of our post-auction reactions. We're doing it team by team, in depth. So if you are a KKR fan in this case, then or just a general IPL fan, then subscribe. Okay, stay tuned because we are really we love an IPL auction and we're going in depth into our conversations about them. So what we'll do is we'll have a look at sort of initial reactions on how well each team has done in the IPL. And then we'll kind of talk about maybe areas they've missed, areas they've managed to fill in their squads. And then maybe talk about some kind of ideal 11s or 12s because of the impact player rule. So I hope that sounds good. Zach, initial kind of feelings and reactions about Kolkata Knight Riders auction performance.
I think it's hard to not look past the Mitchell Starc situation. No, it's hard to look past the Mitchell Starc situation. I mean, the highest anyone's ever gone for in the auction, his price that he was bought for was more than RCB's purse going into it, which just shows you how much he went for. Um, and he eclipsed Pat Cummins as well, who'd also got the same record in that auction. So yeah, crazy buy. But we all knew going in that he would be the one that people wanted. He's that sort of can change a game with his bowling, can bowl you 2 or 3 overs at the death and not go for many runs and take lots of wickets. He's that sort of player. So it was kind of obvious that he was going to go for a lot of money. And they also picked up Gus Atkinson, which I'm quite excited about. He's obviously proven himself in the England shirt. He's done really well. Not so much in 2020s. That's still to be seen if he can really perform. And he's going to the IPL, so that's extra pressure. But I think he's a good backup option if KKR need to go down the route of playing an extra seamer, which in a bit we'll talk about why that might be the case. How do you think their squad looks after we talked about the fact that there's obviously a lot of reliance in the past on Andre Russell and Sunil Narine? How do you think they've gone about maybe backing up those players?
Um, I don't think they've really gone away from them. I think those two still kind of end up being in that first choice 11 or 12.
Hmm.
They're still very reliant on Andre Russell to bolster that middle order and Sunderland Ryan to kind of balance their number 7 or 8 slot. Which obviously those two are aging, so this might just be a kind of one season fix that they're looking at in just kind of getting some more middle order players and hoping for the best. They do have like Shafane Rutherford, who they might see as a replacement for Andre Russell. Obviously, doesn't bowl that much, but he can offer a job in the middle order with a bat. And then obviously they've always got some great mystery spinners, so they can potentially just look to use that impact player rule to their advantage in playing people like Varun Chakravarti and Soya Sharma, who are out and out bowlers, and then impact players substituting in somebody like Ramandeep Singh, who I think is quite a good purchase for them. I was
Very
quite
good.
surprised that he went
Yeah.
so cheap. What do you think? And this is obviously a loaded question because I know exactly what I think about it. What do you think about their wicket keeper situation?
I do think that's an area which they could have done better on. They could have addressed more in this auction, mostly because they've got Ramana Gurbaz. He was already in the squad. So they needed a backup replacement who was Indian, and they went for KS Bharat, who, don't get me wrong, he's a very good wicket keeper. I think as far as wicket keepers go, Indian wicket keepers, he was one of the best. In terms of T20 batting and being a wicket keeper batter who can strike at 140 plus, he's not the man. Um, and so I think that if Ramnala Gurbaz doesn't have the best start to the tournament and they need to bring in someone like Jason Rowe at the top of the order, that means they're going to have to play KS Barrett, which weakens their batting lineup and weakens their balance. So, yeah, I don't think it was the best buy. I reckon they should have looked to get maybe a younger wicketkeeper, up and comer, had their scouts do a few jobs on that. So I do think that's a weak area for them. But they have got a lot of Indian talent. You've talked about Ramandeep Singh. They brought a lot of players to kind of back up some of their players. Like you've got Chetan Sakaria, who's in there. I think they already had Harshit Rana, who I'm really excited about. He's a really fast young Indian bowler. So they've got some good young Indian talent. It's whether they will need to be tested, though, won't they? Because they have that over reliance on certain players. So it'll be interesting to see how they go. Uh, so in terms of a potential 12 slash 11, well, we should probably call it a 12. Who do you reckon are the four? Well, I guess the four overseas options. Do you think they pick themselves, or do you have another little sneaky way of doing it?
I think they pretty much pick themselves. You know, I think you have to play Ramanella Gurbaz purely for the balance of the side because he's a good opener, a very accomplished opener. Um, Potentially not quite as good as Jason Roy, but he's going to be good for years to come, and he can keep
Mm.
wicket, which is the main thing. They pretty much have to play Andre Russell and Sunil Narine. I think Sunil Narine they want to play. Andre Russell, it kind of just it has to happen. They could potentially replace him with Shafane Rutherford if they feel like it. And then Mitchell Starc is the obvious other one. They spent a record 24.75 crore on Mitchell Starc, which is insanely high. That is crazy. This is what mini auctions do. And hopefully he can play all the games. That's been kind of one of the
Mm.
question marks I've heard is is he actually going to be available for the entire IPL? And if he is, then obviously he's a good player. He's an all phase bowler, and he can hit a few sixes if called upon. He kind of replaces Pat Cummins' role from a few years ago,
Mm.
except he's a better T20 bowler than Pat Cummins is. So yeah, I think it's a pretty strong team. What do you think? What's your predicted 12? And we can have them on the screen here. They'll pop
Yeah.
up.
So Gurbaz opening with I've got Venkatesh Iyer opening. I know he's kind of flitted about opening, batting at four maybe. So him and Nitish Rana, I've got Nitish Rana at four. So he and Iyer can be interchangeable depending on how they're feeling. Shreyas Iyer is obviously at three, solid captain choice. Andre Russell, I've got him at five because I think they'll need that experience to bat alongside the inexperienced players. Rinku Singh at six, Ramandeep Singh at seven. I've picked him over Manish Pandey. A bit more exciting. Sunil Rana at eight, Mitchell Starc nine. I've then gone with Harshit Rana over Chetan Sakaria. I just fancy Rana a bit more. Varun Chakravarti at 11, and then Suya Sharma, just same as last year. Impact player, isn't he? Just comes on, bowls you four overs, doesn't need to bat. Um, yeah, that's my 12. Would
Yeah,
you
I
change
think
anything there?
no, I don't think so. I think it's a very strong 12. I'll just check my notes. And yeah, I had broadly the same thing. I was actually debating whether or not to have Vaibhav Aurora instead
Yeah,
of Harshit Rana. Just a very good power play bowler. He can swing it quite far. So taking those early wickets would, take away from the requirement for quite as much death bowling. Because while there is Mitchell Starc there, who's a brilliant death bowler, there is then reliance on somebody like, you know, either Harshit Rana or
Andre Russell.
Andre Russell to bowl at the death. And as we've seen against England in the West Indies series recently,
Yeah.
death bowling might not be where Andre Russell shines. So
Mm.
we'll
Saying that,
see.
he does have a good Yorker.
He does have a
Um,
very good Yorker. He can bowl
and
it fast and at your
yeah,
feet. But, it's if you can take away from the requirement to need him to win you matches at the death, then that's obviously better. And somebody like Weber Aurora up front can take you early wickets.
yeah.
Right. So
Okay.
there's
Mm.
KKR. Let us know in the comments what you think about KKR's performance in the auction, what you think about them as a team. If you think our predicted 12 is about right, then let us know. Yeah. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can also follow all our social medias. The link is in the link tree down in the description. Also, if you want to support this channel, the best way to do it is to become a member, a certified cricket nerd. The link is also in the description. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you later. Goodbye.